Hello and welcome to the Donna Show. This is your host, DJ Donna, and well, we have another artist who's going to be talking about his journey and contribution to our industry. He is a veteran in the music and programming industry. He is popularly known by his name. Bombay Bounce has left no genre unexplored with his varied experience ranging from hip-hop, EDM, house, and various genres of electronica. He has found his pursuit in what Indians are most passionate and proud of, and that is Bollywood. He is the only Indian DJ to have the highest international accomplishments to his credit. He was specially invited to represent India in the DMC World DJ Mixing Championship for 2 years consecutively. Paris in 1998 and New York in 1999, winning the national award as first runner-up 2 years in a row. This laid the foundation to a successful international stints. He is the only Indian DJ to have collaborated with world superstars such as Nicole Scherzinger, Britney Spears, Diana King, Avicii, and more. He has also collaborated with India's most celebrated singers, music directors, and Bollywood movie soundtracks. Well, he is none other than DJ LLOYD, the Bombay Bounce. Welcome to my show, Lloyd. How are you?
I'm good. And how are you?
I'm
Actually
good.
you're just looking fresh and ready to
Yeah, slept well.
play.
Slept well, so yeah. Okay, Lloyd, your first question. When did you start DJing?
Oh God. Okay, fine. So everyone's going to calculate my age and start looking at me as some person who should have retired long time back. But I
No, I
started a
mean,
lot.
which year did
Most
you
of
start?
most of the other DJs you interviewed, like I started in '91.
Okay,
And but if technically speaking, like most other DJs claim that when they stepped into DJing as amateurs, they count their
right.
years from then. So I used to be an amateur DJ when in 1988, but I consider myself a professional DJ since '91 because that's when I really professionally started DJing.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
And
So
where was your, I mean, where did your journey start? From Bombay itself or?
Bombay. So I'm born and brought up in Bombay, and parties in Bandra is like every weekend, even though we had no access to clubs like how we have it now.
Right.
So music parties, gymkhana events, and weddings, and any small excuse to just party on a terrace was the thing of that time and phase where we were always in tune with music all the way, all through the journey.
Right, right.
Yeah. So there, it all began.
So, which was your first club when you started DJing?
My first professional club was Sellers in Oberoi. That is at
Okay,
now it's called Trident.
okay. Did you have any issues with the family when you started DJing? Any problems or
In fact, they were
like we
unlike
usually
other, unlike
most
other
of us have
families.
it.
Unlike other families, like say I come from a family with this very musically inclined, and
Right,
we have
right.
freedom to experiment with music, as long as we just then come home complaining with or giving reasons for parents to pay some more bills for the extra studies and education and diplomas. So if music that was paying us money, I think it was a great achievement for everyone at home because
Right,
we were
right.
doing what we loved, and since we were doing what we loved, they took it for granted that these guys are going to be great at it.
Okay. So who's inspired you to become a DJ?
So my elder brother, his name is John.
Right.
He's a very very popular singer. Um, he
Wow.
he first started with Lenny. Lenny used to be one of the veterans of clubs, along with Andre Viraf,
Right.
the owners of Wizcraft. So they
Right.
were former DJs back then, and of course Xanadu was one of the clubs. And so anyways, somehow Johnny got a break as a DJ, and he used to come and talk about all the stories about how he
Okay.
that. So yeah, that was one big inspiration. But then, of course, singing was his strength. So he joined Louis Banks, and he's very talented, technically super qualified singer with jazz, blues, and now he's an international kind of,
Name. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, which is good. So
Right.
that's inspired me, of course.
Right, right. So, what genres did you start with? I remember you used to play a lot of Psy back in the days when you moved to Cal, but that's we come to that later on. So, what genres did you start with?
So yeah, you met me, I think maybe halfway past my career as a DJ. But then I started listening to music right from uh, like the soul, disco, funk era. So I've been introduced to that style. So whether it's
Right,
Motown, the whole Motown records, then yeah, even the classic rock and that phase of classic rock where we had to go through. But music then was so easy and to accept and hold on to. Not like today, every single day you have around 1,000 new releases, you
right.
know.
Yeah, yeah,
And then if there was a single good release, we held on to it, we cherished it. That track was literally embedded in our system, so that even a small tune would we could register the entire song.
yeah, yeah.
So whether it is the Queens, whether it is uh, ABBA, whether it is Bee Gees, whether it be uh, what to say, Black Box and Technotronics and all that element of the early 90s
Right.
and late 80s was so beautiful. Like I still call some of my new projects funky, groovy, sexy, naughty, disco. So it had all the elements of fun.
Right.
So
Tell
yeah,
us about your most memorable performance till date.
oh God, I have too many to list it.
You can
So
tell us one, no
my
problem.
entire journey has been one amazing memory, and I wish I could
Right.
just sum it up in a small little sentence, but it's going to be difficult. Uh, to name the best was be again my first week in Sellers uh, as a DJ, and trying to still consume or rather uh, you know what do you say, as in observe that reality that I was in, and
Right.
try to just take that all in was beautiful, was amazing, was like a blessing, and yeah, and I didn't want to ever look back or think of doing anything else apart from what I was there to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So which year did you move to Calcutta? I remember you were a resident DJ in one of the finest clubs in Cal back in the days, and you also had your institute. So talk about that probably. Tell us about that.
So
How did you
now,
move to Calcutta? I mean,
so
how
how
did
did I
that
move to
transition
Canada
happen?
was,
Yeah.
so like we were, of course we were exploring, and new clubs, greater technology that was being introduced in our clubs, so that was always an advantage to be up to date, not with your music but also with the gear that was coming in.
Right.
And this, it
Right.
was DJs who wouldn't just have to play on turntables, because turntables was of course the thing, but we would also manipulate other things like your lasers, your lights, your visuals, so everything back then also.
Right.
So when we heard of something in Calcutta, that is anti-clock, that was opening. So when Andre and Viraf had shared the idea of what was going to happen in Calcutta, and
Right.
which didn't exist, I mean, then in terms of trying to create that entire experience
Right.
of clubbing, and clubbing to not just the elite and the what do you call it, uh, that elderly crowd, so called. So anti-clock opened up its doors for the younger generation of 94, who's not young anymore. But then but then it was crazy. We were treated like stars. We felt like stars,
Right.
because What was happening then in Calcutta was incognito, at where Jimmy was playing. Then Douglas was playing at Pink Elephant. Uh, uh, then of course someplace else. My dearest and nearest and dear. Actually, I consider him to be like my guardian in Calcutta.
Guardian Angel.
The classiest, the coolest dude. So he was like family, but then we suddenly felt that we were under the spotlight for all the people in Calcutta. That is Ryan Beck and myself, and
Right.
then we had Chris Rose come in, and after Chris Rose, then we started getting in other DJs from Bombay. But yeah, that experience in Calcutta, I mean, it wasn't all about Calcutta as a city. It was the love, the respect, the friends we made there. It's so difficult to find friends who can take time out and be there for you, hang out with you, and you'll go drives, and you go for those puchkas and all that stuff. In Bombay, yeah, in Bombay, I didn't think we had we had that kind of vibe after we started working.
Right.
But Calcutta had that warmth in people. They were interested in what you're doing. They would welcome you home for dinner. It was a different feeling. So my real friends I actually made was in Calcutta then.
Right.
So I didn't want to leave Calcutta. So I stuck around Calcutta for 3-4 years. I joined Incognito after Jimmy, and then I came back to Bombay, and then Bombay, of course. Then I kept basically my journey has been always challenging me with great opportunities, and trying to fulfill them and do justice to that was a challenge. But I loved it, and yeah, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with so much in this industry that is unimaginable. And I'm pretty sure that most of the DJs who worked with me or during the time I was doing what I was doing back in the mid 90s and the late 90s, I know they would admire the fact that this guy he's always getting the good breaks. He's getting the good clubs. He's got some amazing platforms. Okay, so I was blessed. Yeah. And I'm still am.
Right. Right.
Is it that too many DJs sharing the blessings?
Okay. Tell us about your achievements and awards so far.
About whom?
About your achievements and awards so far.
See, I know. Like I said, opportunities in clubs where they were almost all the clubs that I was associated with were super clubs.
Right.
They all were like super hot during the time, during their phase, and I happened to be at the right time at the right place. So that is one thing that I achieved, and without actually trying to do too much or trying to, fight my way in. It just came into my lap, and I was, again, like I said, it was blessings. Then came in the awards for DMC. Now DMC, as we all know, is the most respected world championship for DJing. It is not like the War of the DJs, though. War of the DJs also had great platform for DJs to showcase their talent and show how good they are and how unique they are, okay, to compete with. But DMC was super technical, and that's just something where I did everything I could to make sure that I stand out. And yes, I managed to bag in 2 years back to back as a first runner-up in India. So both in the first year, it was 98, where I got the first runner-up, where Sunny Sarid from Delhi, he was at Gunguru's, and he, of course, he's far more respected in his space and in the city. And the vibe, the way he plays. Oh, he was, again, another thing I could learn from, and most of the DJs have learned from. So we actually literally were on the same stage. We played. We were in Paris together for the championship, and I remember giving him records when he was competing. So it was amazing, and we got a chance to share the stage with some of the biggest DJs in the world who are not popular, who haven't got this platform that we are kind of doing, or rather this technology for them to get the spotlight. Otherwise, DJs like Craze, A-Track, Crazy B, I mean, the names can just go on. Shortcut. Back then, to hang with them, learn with them, train with them, it was like coming back to India with gifts of information. and telling
Wow.
other people, dude, do you know how to do this? And oh God, it was crazy. It was another level. So that time, Nasha, myself, Steve, most of our friends. So we would all try and do this battle, beat juggling and scratching and all sorts of maneuvers when it requires, turntablism. So we would share
Right.
ideas, we would get videos, and then came in the 1999 championship where Suketu also was a part of it. And he's very humble, very sweet, like everyone knows. He
Yeah.
that this personality, he should get an award for that. I don't know if he did. But yes, then that time we were all in that one little thing competing with each other, and it was too much fun. Clement was there. Clement was
Oh,
representing
wow.
Bangalore. Yeah, Bangalore. So he won from Bangalore.
Right.
Ivan was first year. So
Wow.
again, so like all those DJs now, who when we meet now each other and we hang out and we talk about our experiences, one disappointment is we feel like, oh God, we've come a long way. When every single every single new what do you say phase of music that comes in, we actually go back, we reset, we
Right.
relearn. The only advantages that we have is that we've evolved from
Right. Right.
analog to digital. So that's our advantage, and that is where I think where we deserve the respect of being through that. And it's just that we have to shy away from the fact that we don't know much of what's happening today. So we have to still learn. We have to still
Right.
be around the new trends, stick around and understand the new trends, and see how we could also participate and not be just put on a pedestal and say, now you stay there as a trophy. Okay, we'll DJ.
Right. Right.
you know so that is something I can never come to terms with. I will be a DJ for life. So that is my achievements. Then of course, if the list is too long, yeah, forget it. Do you really want to know? You can go
Yeah.
to
Our viewers want to know for sure. This is about you. This is about you.
then I got a chance with the Fire and Ice after I came back from New York from the DMC Championship, World DMC Championship, where
Second time.
Nasha was holding the title for India,
Right.
and Nasha, myself, and Asad, we had traveled there uh, to New York for the World Championship. I was doing a workshop with a couple of DJs there, just to because I wanted to again be a few steps ahead. So just that
Right.
hunger to learn and hunger to know that no more. Like right now, we can just go online and get those cheat codes when it comes to playing games and being a little one up on your
Right.
competitors. At that
Yeah.
time, there was no such thing where we could just get those shortcuts. So I would travel. Anyways, came back. I got Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice was the most amazing experience. It was 1999. We are at the end of the millennium, and it changed everything. That place gave me a platform where I think I must have reached my peak, where I believe there were very popular DJs who would come on my guest list, and it was shocking for me to reflect back on that time and think of how crazy those moments were, because some of the Bollywood celebrities who would come there as kids then back then and who were not popular then,
Right.
we would see them in their most vulnerable, fun, happy space where they didn't feel like they were going to be judged. But now they'll have to, they have a public image. They need to
Right. Right.
behave different. So we've seen them in the most fun, real, uh, in the most realistic. What do you say? Uh, that they are in reality. How they
Right.
move around, how they dance, how they party, the way they talk. So Fire Nice, yes, Fire Nice gave us a platform where it was a privilege, and it was truly a
Right.
privilege to be the. I was the head DJ of Fire Nice, so I would call the shots with what music plays when and how we plan the flow. Okay, Steve was assisting me then, though he was super talented, and I would never compromise on working with anyone else at that time, but Steve, because I would learn from Steve. So it
Right.
was
Right.
never like an assistant, but he was there to assist me, not only to just play music in the fillers, but he would play the main sets most of the time because I was partying, I was socializing, I was losing it, I was just celebrating. And yeah, then after 5 nights, I went on this weird journey where the self-searching space where the
Yeah, yeah,
psychedelics then came in the psychedelics. So see,
yeah,
they say once you reach that peak, no, where you can't see yourself getting better than where you are, then you
yeah.
might just go and figure out exactly how you're going to take a break and come back fresh. So my
So
break
was
was
this
that.
when? So was this when Calcutta happened? When you went
So
in on your little soul
Calcutta
searching?
happened after that whole journey where the entire psychedelics, in terms of sound, in terms of lifestyle, and the way I wanted to understand the psychedelics in terms of technology and music and the coming together of both these uh, sounds and elements and way of life rather.
Yeah,
So that phase was beautiful. I learned a lot in that on that journey. Came back to Bombay and realized that reality is something that we can't run from. We have to face reality and live
right, right,
these. That's
right.
when I cut my hair. I had this long hair. I would not care of how I looked. Then I came to Calcutta like that. So I came to
Okay.
Calcutta with this
Yeah, I
long
think
hair.
I saw you with long hair and a ponytail and
Everyone
all of
would look at
that.
everyone look at me and say, "Ye kaun hai junkie? Monkey or whatever." They would kind of put me in one
Yeah,
weird place. Then when I started seeing Sanjay Datta doing what he was doing at Tantra, and the way he was getting the love and respect and what he had created, the movement that Sanjay Datta created in Calcutta. So when I
right.
came back, I was shocked to see Sanjay Datta develop this new uh, what a set of people and a new trend that just blew my mind, and I was so happy to see him achieve what he did achieve in with the help of Park Hotel and of course his very close friends who supported him and the crowd who was so loyal to his
Right.
sound, to his music. I was like jealous. I was like, fuck, unbelievable. Like I used
Right.
to know Sanjay when I used to know Sanjay Datta, he was a different person, right? And now I see him as this person who is in this place where I felt I couldn't even get that kind of feedback when I was in Finance.
Right.
He was kind of generating it here in Calcutta because Calcutta is emotional, Calcutta is expressive, you know. So I said,
And
this
music
is
plays a big part in Calcuttans, with
yes. Calcutta has a very, very, very strong musical connect, and
exactly.
because they're expressive, because they're emotional, because they're the misty, sweet city of joy. So then, yeah, I know. Then I want to do something like Sanjay Datta, or do something more crazier, or try
Right.
and say, can I do something and challenge something like this? Take on this monster, the beast from Beast.
Yeah.
I said, how do I do this? How do I do this? And somehow or the other, I stumbled upon a few ideas. Then a friend of mine, Eddie, and then my friends from Tangra, we all got together and we planned all these parties, the so-called,
Chinese New
uh,
Year's and all of that.
where it was not in the club, not a traditional party.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
people literally look for it. So that's good. So then that thing started off,
Yeah.
and that started trending along with Sanjay Datta. Sanjay Datta had his own vibe, I had my own vibe, and things moved on from then. And then I started exploring. I started getting appreciated for whatever we were doing. Ash Roy was played another important role in opening the school with me, and then he moved to Delhi to work with Red FM. So the school, then the clubs, which is Tantra, Bed Lounge, then Saurav Ganguly's place, which is Prince of Cal. So
Yeah.
I felt like fine. Now this is really, moved at a very fast pace, and I've started getting a lot of work in Calcutta. And when everything again started reaching its peak, where I didn't see myself doing anything better
Yeah,
than what I
right.
was already did.
Again, back to soul searching.
No, 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 no. This was not soul searching. This was like Bombay calling me back. Okay, with the new welcome from another brother, DJ Aki, forever, and he told me, Lloyd, I'm opening up something great, and I'd like you to be a part of it. So he told me about Poison. He told me how Poison is going to be, and I was I was like totally sold to the idea. I came and I spoke to my team, I spoke to my partners, I spoke to all the associates saying that I'll be moving. I shared all those duties with everyone, packed, moved to Bombay, and Poison happened. Poison was beautiful. Poison was
One
another
of the
great
best
experience.
clubs. Yeah, I've heard so much about it.
So people who've seen Fire and Ice and seen Poison, some of them they can't decide which was better. You know,
Okay.
so because again in Poison and Fire and Ice, I had a chance to work with some great DJs. I'm talking about international DJs.
Right.
In Poison, it's the same thing. Judge Jules, Tall Paul, who else? Skazi, Yahel. Some of the best DJs where I opened for them, Paul Van Dyke. So again, that platform for a DJ was again another gift, another like it was a DJ's dream to just be there on that console, you know.
Right.
So Poison saw some great DJs like NYK also. NYK was again his experience as a thrill to be playing as a guest DJ. His story also was so real when it came out from him. So yes, that Poison was again a gift to the nightlife, and it's going to go
Right.
down in history by in all means. Then came in Royalty. Royalty came in with that entire colorful Bollywood drama, and of course we had again some of the best DJs playing. We had two different rooms, just like Poison had, but again we were trying to curate different sounds. We had Dimitri Vegas like Mike, Laidback Luke. Again, oh god, the list is just too long. So
Yeah.
that also got me, into this place where I said, you know what, I'm really very favored when it came to
You are at
being
the right time, right place, always.
a resident DJ, and it was again, my journey has been really beautiful, and I really loved whatever I had. Then of course came television, and uh, to my knowledge, I was the first DJ on television for a show as big as Mahamukabla, which is
Right.
Anmol Music Mukabla. You're sharing the stage and with the biggest names in the music industry: Shankar Mahadevan, Shreya Ghoshal, Mika Singh, Mohit, then Shan, and who I missed out on. Have I missed out on anyone? No, I think I've covered everything. So some of the big names who had their own teams, and I had my own episode within the episode called the DJ round, where I would challenge them to sing traditional Bollywood songs with this new sound which is more house music, hip hop, where there's any electronic element of the early 2000. Or was it
Right. Right.
mid 2000?
Right.
Yeah. So that again gave me a lot of popularity. So
Right.
I was really popular because the fan base started increasing because of everything. We had now Facebook, we had Orkut, we had all these other
Yeah. Platforms. Yeah.
networking platforms where people wanted to come look for you, they wanted to hear about you, they wanted to see pictures, so that vibe started building on, and I started getting a lot of gigs for and doing a lot of tours in the US, Europe, because of Amul Music Mahamukabla. And yeah, I don't know when I've had a very weird or a bad phase, but it's been great. I went on to running nightclubs, being a partner in a nightclub. So this journey has always been raising bar for me to achieve bigger things, take on new challenges. But I realized trying to run the business of clubbing was not my piece of cake. Something that I always failed in. So I tell almost all my friends, I don't think I can do business. I'm an artist, and I can focus on the art of DJing. But trying to make
Right.
this business and give it a business angle, maybe it's not in my it doesn't help me at all. I'm not been successful there. So
Right.
I lost and learned a lot in that phase where I tried to take on these challenges.
Right. Right.
Back to being humble and playing music along with you, and all the other, what do you say, hotshot DJs.
Well, it's a privilege for me though to be sharing
Oh,
stage with you
it should be because
someday.
I should see my dance floor when I have to play, and I should actually smile. So for those of you who don't know, DJ Donna is an amazing dancer. I didn't realize she was an amazing singer till I heard her sing "Happy Birthday" to one of my friends. And when I used to play music, I would see her on the floor with this big, broad smile, I mean, as a sign of respect to the kind of music I was playing. So it would give me more energy and make me more happy to play for her more. But great to know that she started DJing. And then how did you start DJing?
Well, I did join your, your institute. Second half when I just started, and I was like, okay, I need to play.
Listen, she joined my institute. Okay. And can you see how successful she is? Okay. She's on the other side of the aisle and she's taking an interview and asking me about most of the things that she knows about me so that you can get that information.
And
And
they
I
can learn
didn't
from you as well.
that I had the privilege to have her as a student in my academy.
Thank you,
Great.
Radha. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so proud. Yeah, seriously, I should put that on my resume now.
No. Well, Lloyd, tell me something. When you started DJing, there was no social media. So how would you
Yeah.
get your music? How would you, prepare for your gigs and collect your music when there was no social media and you absolutely had no idea what was being played apart from the radio station? So how would
Yeah.
you collect your music?
So either we had our own mixtapes and our own tapes that we would record. That time cassettes were big, CDs weren't
Yeah,
introduced,
right.
or to on such a large scale for DJs like myself who would not always buy CDs when the club would buy CDs and records. So the club would invest in all the collection of music. So if it was Sellers, it was 1900s, it was Rock on the Clock, Go Bananas, whatever, they would have updated their own collection. That was part of the contract with this DJ agency and
Right.
the night. They would give you DJs and also update the club with music. So we wouldn't have to make large investments with music, and those DJs who would be like freelancers, very difficult. I don't know how they would manage to collect music, because again, that back then recording CDs was not there because CD writers were not there. CD
Right,
writers
right.
came very late. So
Very
to
late.
copy
Yeah, yeah.
it was sometime in 96, 97 when we started copying CDs, writing CDs.
Right.
Otherwise, looking to get a CD out from Billboard or from the Now collection, or getting singles from most of these music labels would be very difficult. So we would have to
Right.
get an agency like in Singapore and in London, and they would post music to us as and when the top 40s or the Billboard charts would be released. We would get
Right.
music and mixes on that. Then white labels were like very difficult to find because DMC was such a big thing then, because DMC would promote their own producers who would produce mixes. So DMC
Right.
was again huge thing for us to get those DMC mega mixes and those 12 inches and those white labels from DJs who were not known. But yeah, we would try and play those tracks because we had to try and be a little different from the other club. But it was not like how it is today, for sure. Today is totally is a different ball game. Back then it was,
Right.
like I said, little, but would be cherished and loved and appreciated far more than how you would give that respect to another great track that would be released today.
Right.
You'll hear it today. You'll do all those dance moves. It'll go viral for a while,
I think we
and then
still, I think
and
we
then you'll hear
still, yeah, I mean, talk about music back in the days. I think we still have a big smile on our face when we hear it. It's just become evergreen for us.
that is so not the nostalgia of that tune taking you back to how we appreciated it then. So whether it is even Macarena has come back and getting spoiled, but when that Macarena was something else. Okay, then we had such great tunes back then. Yeah. Oh, I know the list is again too long, and some of them may not be related to those tracks, but it's okay. The music would be cherished and loved and respected because DJs would literally pick them, play them at the right time, so that we keep that fire burning. So,
Right.
good memories for people who would go clubbing, or DJs who were DJing, dancers who would professionally dance. They know the value of those grooves, those tracks, those tunes is never going to die. Those tracks will never die.
Right. Right.
These this new top 10 tracks that will come in will fade away, and you will never want to hear again, because it is just that monotony of sound and music that is just going, just adding a few changes and still releasing tracks. You know,
Right. Right.
so
So how did Bombay Bounce happen? You're also known as Bombay Bounce. So how did that name?
so Bombay Bounce happened because of everyone thinking that I used to play only techno and trance, sorry, psychedelic and trance and progressive. Of course, I used to play hip hop and R&B also, but then I wanted to get this. I'll create a new avatar, or rather a different avatar, where people would relate all my commercial, my Bollywood music to under one brand, which is the Bombay Bounce. And the reason why the Bombay Bounce is because I started seeing great opportunities of bouncing out of India and taking Bombay with me wherever,
Oh,
whether it's Singapore,
right.
whether it's US, whether it's anywhere. So that's when the
Right.
Bombay. So getting that, and Bombay being the hub of entertainment and glam and music and Bollywood. So taking Bombay to the world, or taking that Bombay experience to another dance floor, would really package that experience, and people would connect with that name. So yeah.
Right. Tell us about your journey. I have read about your bio where you've shared stage with Britney Spears, Diana King, and Avicii and all. Tell us about the journey of yours.
I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people don't know about this. And yeah,
Exactly.
along with
I
this
want
new.
them to know about it.
So uh, I'd gone for the Winter Music Conference into Miami, where I met
Right.
great producers, marketing heads of music labels, then artist managers and stuff like that. I got introduced to a panel where they were talking about uh, crossing the borders and expanding your boundaries, and how you can reach a different audience from a different country with a different language. So
Right.
after that, I addressed the panel and I asked them, saying that how can India fit into this? So I went to the panel and I told, and I asked them, I said, how does India fit in to this topic when you discuss expanding your boundaries? I come from India. I come from a country that is the largest population, second largest population in the world, as compared to China. In
Right.
China, you don't find people speaking English, okay, in metropolitan cities there. In India, our first language is English in most of the metropolitan cities in our country. We are
Right.
an English speaking country. We are very educated in our culture, with uh, in the way we like to see how we consider someone as a prosperous or a successful person. That is part of our culture. So English,
Right.
being the universal language, is something that we speak as good as our first language.
Right.
If the marketing heads of music, the music industry, your artist managers, if they would think that I could be the link to connect your artist to this larger audience, which was never thought of, or rather was not really given a thought of in terms of seeing value for your artist,
Right.
why not experiment on this? And this is my achievements, this is who I am, this is the clubs I played at. Paul Van Dyke was sitting on the panel, and I said, Paul, I played for you twice, I opened your sets twice. And then he spoke back and he said, yes, I remember. This is how we connect. I was trying to place you, so because of that, I started getting a lot of love, respect, questions to me from other aspiring artists. And then I was getting numbers and contacts of a lot of these managers, with the Spitbull's manager, there's Nicole Sishinger's managers and contacts. So there was a kind of buzz that was created in the moment. So can we at some point, chop the details of, yeah, please, and make it short because I came back to Bombay and I get a call uh, from Desi Hits. Desi Hits is the mediator for international artists and Indian artists, or rather promoting international artists to India through via collaborations, through things. So they said we'd like to make you to do a remix for Nicole Sishinger's new track right there. And I thought this is a joke. This is lame. This is not happening. This is all. So they proved it to me. They sent me the contract. They sent me the track. Then I got Raja Hassan to come in my studio, and we did the first scratch and we sent it. The scratch was accepted and appreciated. They said, now we just master it and send it to us. This is the amount of money. Da 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 da. Everything was sorted, and I was like, "Fucking hell, amazing!" Then there was talk about me being in the video. Then I don't know what happened. Of course, there was so much ideas being floating around, where I really felt this is great. Like, these guys have really appreciated the track and this is so unique. Da, da, da. Then Nicole Sishinger herself said that she loved it. She loved the whole vibe. While that was sinking in and me celebrating that whole collaboration, I got a call from Sony, as in again through these years, for making a track with Britney Spears. Now again, I said, "Oh God, this must be for sure. This is 100%, some guy teasing me." No, but that guy had again an accent, and then he of course said, "Listen, we discussed this. You were talking to my other colleague regarding right there. So now they want you to do this track with Britney, but this time." We like the idea that you introduced a singer in. I mean, DJs normally don't try and use a singer and blend in. So he said we like the way you presented a singer in your remix. So could you do that for Britney also? So I want to go Britney's track. I said, but can we do something bigger? So he said, name the biggest singer. I said, for me, the biggest singer right now in India, and the most respected and the most loved one is Sonu Nigam.
Sonu Nigam.
I said, if Sonu Nigam comes in on board with this, then it'll be great. They said, okay, fine. So let's try and reach out to him and we'll get back to you. Next thing, I get a call from Sonu Nigam. And Sonu Nigam calls me and says, hi, this is Sonu Nigam. I said, sir, it is an honor to speak to you. Please don't say anything further. Just let me know when we meet. And because he was so happy, he was so excited to do something on the similar lines. Because he must be so versatile. Yeah, he's so pretty versatile that it is unbelievable. And he thought this is going to challenge him to do something more internationally with Britney Spears.
It's a big name, exactly. Yeah.
For whatever. And so I went to his house, made him listen to the scratch. He loved the scratch. He said, let's do it. Plus, I want the sound I want my band to sound like this on live.
Right.
So even later, we did the track. The track was accepted. Everything, it came out in the media, but it wasn't so bad. I mean, pumped in the media because we didn't spend money. We didn't invest money on promoting it back then. We didn't think like most of our successful popular names, where we didn't think branding, we didn't think marketing, we didn't think of using as a great scoop for us to be famous. That is our fault. I wish I was as smart as so many other kids who I'm learning from every day because of social media and marketing agencies taking the project and putting it out there. But then Sonu Nigam said, why don't you just join my band, okay, and be a part of it and see how we could try and blend you in and your sound in, because I want this entire feel of my sound changing and giving it a more the right energy.
Right.
So for a long phase, I was on stage with Sonu Nigam working on patches, this pad loops, and those
Yeah.
loops would be like used, like how those uh, how your drum machines and the guys who trigger loops in the band. So I would just
Yeah.
trigger loops. But I had my console, and I would at one point do my scratches, tick, 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 and all the effects around, all the SFX in the band was all by me. The loops were
Right.
made by me. But at one point, it really felt like I'm not DJing. I'm still being one of those guys who are just one of the
Band
band
members.
members. And
Yeah.
I love them. They're amazing. They're talented. They're geniuses in their own space. It's just that I wasn't cut out to be on such a big stage when my biggest stage is the DJ console.
Correct.
you know
Correct.
so that is, I was in a new, and I was in a different phase. I wasn't fitting in. I really felt like my thing is a console, dude. And I want to
Right.
be playing for people. Here I was
Not
not
just be in
connecting
a corner,
with Sonu Nigam. I was basically along with the rest of, we are working as a team.
Right.
So Sonu Nigam would be the main spotlight of the show. So we would have to do everything possible to make sure that we complement each other, and the star, as in the star of the show or the star of the movie. But you have to play a role to make sure that the star gets
It's
that
visible. Yeah.
that back
Yeah.
support. And I really felt that maybe that experience was great. I learned a lot. I earned a lot, and only thing is I had to come back to DJing. Yeah. So yeah, I come back to DJing, and I took a break, came back to DJing, went and started doing clubs. But that time I had a lot of money, so I wanted to invest in clubs. And that's where the roller coaster ride took.
Did you face any struggles rather, in your journey?
So let me say, all my struggles, I've happily taken it in a very good spirit, because those struggles were such a nice learning phase. So
Right.
what doesn't makes you stronger. So I genuinely, I feel like Hulk, Hulk. Yeah. So I'm strong. I can take on a lot, because
Okay.
the successes has been amazing, has been gifts. But to get those successes, or get those achievements, there was a path where you had to really struggle and to strive.
Right. True. True.
This thing we should all know is, when you're enjoying the struggle, when you're enjoying what you're doing, you don't know how fast that struggle just went by.
That struggle period just
You're
goes.
so busy enjoying it, okay, that you didn't realize you really worked hard for it.
And it's not even struggle, to be very honest. When you love something that you do, it's just another day at
It,
work and you enjoy it.
I have to agree with that, because when you're having fun and someone says, "Dude, you just played an 8 hour set, or you played
You're
a,"
like, oh, did I just miss
and
the
you
time?
say like, "Oh, 8 hours? Are you serious? 8 hours? Fuck, I worked very hard." Reality is
But
like,
at that moment, you don't really realize that 8
yeah,
hours, 9 hours, 10 hours is just a flash of the
dude, you
moment.
played an 8 hour set. Yes, I played an 8 hour set, and I didn't know where the time suddenly went by. Like, yeah.
So, anything new you're working on right now, Lloyd? Anything, any new project you're
Uh,
working on?
what I'm right now working on is counting the days and waiting for that,
Normalcy to happen again?
and waiting for that light which is there at the end of the tunnel, which everyone wants to call, which everyone's hopefully looking at
Yeah.
something good to happen. Also, it could be an approaching train at the end of the tunnel. So I'm ready for the worst and the best. It is just that we're just praying that this thing goes away, and we all come back to normal, and we
Yeah, yeah.
all get again to live peacefully, hug each other, and not have the fear of a crowd. So
Right.
yeah, I just hope things get better. And
Yeah, we're
maybe
all
if the place that we're
hoping.
living in, it could be a nice lesson for us to respect the fact that
To
we
value
need to
life
be
more, I
need
think.
to get order now. I think this whole, our human race, and this phase that we are living in with technology, and with the way we've been treating our planet, and the way we're living our lives, and is we've just lost the real, the organic way of living, where we had we said hello and appreciated small things. We ignored
Right.
it.
Right.
Now those small things are the things that's keeping us going, which we're going to hold on to. So it's a good lesson.
Correct. Correct.
I
Have
just
you
hope it
ever
passes.
dealt with performance anxiety in your life?
Have I had what?
Have you ever dealt with performance anxiety? Beginning
I'm
of your
sorry.
career, perhaps.
I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety, but not for performing. Yeah. I have dealt. When it comes to the stage, right? So, like
Right.
all our common DJ friends, they
Right.
know
Right.
that Lloyd is one guy who is not shy to go to the DJ console and tell the DJ, "Dude, can I play?" so, so even if that guy happens to be the star of the event, I would still wait. Like for me, when Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike was playing,
Uh-huh.
I was not supposed to play after them, because they were supposed to close the gig. They were supposed to end the event. The crowd
Right.
went home. But since there was no one who was willing to take on, because they were
After
saying,
them.
"Oh, dude,
Yeah.
listen, we got two tracks left, and we're leaving." And the night is still continuing. Salman Khan is in the crowd. Everyone is there. I'm like, "Fuck, great!" And everyone is saying, "No, right? Should I? No, no, I don't know. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared." And I was prepared. Said, "Okay." I knew all the tracks he didn't play. Okay, I knew all the bangers, all this we play for residents. We know the crowd which
Right.
will excite.
Right.
Right? Let's play a set. Okay, we don't play a set. I don't play a set. I play studying the moment, the mood, and how to take the mood from there to another
Right.
level.
Right. Right.
So I was all prepared and I was so confident. Went, took my pen drive, shoved it in, and I started playing. To my luck, the crowd stayed. Otherwise, what happens is when the artist finishes and he'll make
The
this
crowd starts moving out. Yeah.
yeah, because the goodbye is so long. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and that moment, people are just paying the bills and settling everything to go. But luckily,
Right. Right.
to my to my luck, I just managed to just push my track in, get the momentum going, and
You're right.
guess what? Salman Khan told them go back and play because they because the crowd was still buzzing, people were still bouncing, So uh, it was shocking. So I played for an hour or so, and then he
Uh-huh.
said, bring them back again, just because the vibe in the club was so good, And these guys are standing in the VIP chilling out when they are here to come and actually
Perform.
perform and give everything they got, right?
Right. Right.
They were happy to see that the crowd was still sticking around and was still like waiting for more.
Right.
So
Right.
this is, I know. Let's hope this happens again at some
I'm sure
point.
it will. I mean, with due course of time, I'm sure it will.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it'll be. You have to understand that I know how different it's going to be.
Right.
Yeah,
But I'm sure with time, things are just going to get better. I'm hopeful.
it's better for sure. It'll get
Yeah.
better, but then
So yeah.
it will be there will be a small little teething period. There'll be that little in the learning curve where we'll have to figure out exactly the new SOP with opening up, the new
Right.
SOP
Right.
with serving staff, serving people in the club, and how we're going to receive
Right.
them. And put them in small cubicles on the floor so that they can't touch each other. It is you're killing their experience.
That is just not the experience we worked so hard for. Seriously.
Seriously, yeah. What's going to happen to all those perverts who want to come and just poor fellows, yeah.
For them, clubbing is not the place for being a pervert anymore. It's like social distancing. Please stay in your
Please
own stay in your
cut
own
that
space. Get drunk and go.
I think it's not needed. Because I laugh at them on the console, no. When you see them, no, dancing and all, and how they try to come close to the beautiful girl, and they want to dance with them. They say, "Ma'am, can I dance with you?"
They
They
just
won't do
go
that.
and they just go
No, they
and
won't, they'll come and then automatically, without any permission, they'll be like, "Arey, don't know you for years. Arey, I can doing the same steps you're doing." And suddenly
Sorry.
my boyfriend lights up. Hey, kya ho raha hai? Oh, nothing. You want a drink? Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Okay, we've come to the rapid fire question. Yeah?
Oh, there's a rapid fire question.
Okay, 3 things no one knows about Lloyd.
Okay, the first is that I'm a lefty, so I think from the creative side of my brain. Second, second is I love sketching, and I really think I'm quite good at sketching.
Right.
And the third is I have this passion for writing IPs. IPs, intellectual properties, where it could be related to anything. It could be related to a toy and creating a new toy. It could be creating a town. It could be creating anything that's creative. And I
Right.
would write it and put all the what do you say the idea together to give it life and save it.
Okay. Who's your all-time favorite singer? Your most favorite?
Hmm. My favorite singer, my favorite singer, my favorite singer. Okay. I should be George Michael.
Okay. Okay. So 3 qualities that is needed to be a DJ. Any 3 qualities that's a must to be a DJ.
So the first is the love for music, without which I don't think you should ever even try and think of being a DJ. Second is the passion to perform with music. So that adds to the package, which helps you become successful.
Right.
And when you do become successful, which comes to the third phase, is to adapt to change and make that your strength in your set when you perform because you love music.
Right. Tell me one thing that you would like to change in the industry.
Oh, great question, actually. Superb question. I would love to have people investing in artists. They invest in so many things, startups and this and that. Why can't people invest in artists? DJs, music producers, singers, sign them up, fund them for training, give them the platform, the exposure, help them with legal advice, help them with all the things that they cannot do, package them up. Can they become the next Justin Bieber? Yes. Can they become the next David Guetta? Yes. They can become Martin Garrix, Marshmello, everything. Why? Do you think Marshmello and all these guys who are super successful in the world has done it by themselves? No. There are people, there is a team that comes to back up this one brand, pump in their time, their money, their professional services to make sure that this thing is created for the world to receive. That is not existent in India, and I urge people watching this uh, talk show to at least take this idea from here and see if you could just pick on one artist you think can really make a change or turn things around, or rather just open up a company and hire the top 10 talents that you think are great. Two of them will
Right.
become successful. It will feed you and them, and also encourage others like you to come in and support this industry.
Right. Right.
Okay.
React with one word to the following.
Okay.
Music,
Therapy.
awards,
Achievements.
relationship,
Then, complications.
club.
Wow.
What is the most useless talent you have?
The useless talent. I can watch documentaries and study them and what to say and what to say how to say study documentaries. Because documentaries are made because after studies, right? But I can
Right.
study
Right.
documentaries after they're made. I do
Oh,
understand.
wow. Yeah, yeah.
Even so this fact checking, I love to fact check documentaries.
Right, right, right.
It's
Okay,
useless to anyone, but yeah, it is great for me because I love to fact check them.
okay. So if Lloyd wasn't a DJ, what would he be?
I would have been a dancer, I think.
Hmm, that's something
Yeah,
I didn't know
I
about you.
started as a dancer.
See,
So
I
yeah,
didn't
I
know
used
that
to.
about you.
I used to love dancing. So I've
Well, we
got
definitely
that.
have to dance together someday.
Mhm.
Okay, what is the easiest way to piss Lloyd off?
Disrespect. Any kind of
Okay,
disrespect would really like trigger me.
okay, okay. The last question of our rapid fire. What is the one track that never gets old for you?
What a feeling that feels to believe in. Oh, no, what's the track? Ah, what a
What a
feeling by Flash.
feeling. Na 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 na. And what a feeling only. What a feeling.
It's what a feeling by the from the soundtrack of Flashdance.
Okay, okay. So any advice for the newcomers?
Okay, the only advice I can give the newcomers is that in this free time that we all have, if you can switch back to see how music has been evolved and how music that started from the 60s, what kind of music and how the instruments were the kind of instruments they use, the different styles of music, different genres of music, and how we can appreciate that art, study that art, and then chances are that we could be really unique in the way we perform with
Right.
technology. Yeah.
Well, that was all for all the questions that we had. But thank you so much for being with us, Lloyd. Thanks a lot for finally being on my show.
Thank you, Donna. And I know we had a lot of fun because I can feel it happening. It was fun talking to you, Donna. Seriously, it's good, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so
Thank
happy
you
that
so much.
you are so what do you say, successful in everything that you're doing. Like I never thought you could sing, and you are a great singer,
Thank
and
you so much.
you could host a show, and now you're hosting a show. So you surprise me, and you don't fail to surprise me, which is very good, and I'm very
Thank you
glad
so much. Thanks a
that
lot.
you are a friend and a colleague and
And the
uh,
student.
I'm a student and was a student. Okay, and I'm learning from this conversation. So we can all be students. But it's good. It was a great conversation.
Thank you so much.
I hope some sense can be taken out of it.
I'm sure. I'm
I
sure.
do. Good,
Thank
good.
you so much for being with us. Well, that was DJ Lloyd for you. And well, we have another guest next week and another big name. And they are going to speak about their journey and contribution to music. But for now, this is your host, DJ Donna, signing off and see you next week. Wednesday, 5 p.m. And we are also going to launch this show on my YouTube channel next month onwards, every Friday. So keep a lookout and I will see you next week. Until then, take care, be safe, be healthy, and I will see you soon. Good night and God bless.